Hi, how you're doing? Welcome back to Where Clarets Walk. We are recording this straight away after that Liverpool result. And Michael Oliver, these two have got some words for you. Hope you're doing well. Premier League is back. Here we are again, though, fellas. Another game, another refereeing controversy or not? Let's check in with you. We're also talking about Hannibal, and we're doing how good was the transfer window for Burnley? Rate it out of 10. Let us know in the comments and see if it agrees with this. Plus, we're talking about club or country. Would you sooner see Burnley win the league or England win the World Cup? Let's check in with these two. How are you two after that frustrating 90 minutes, Dan? Thoughts?
Well, you know, Michael Oliver and VAR, that's why reasons I drink. But yeah, I'm not. Oh, hang on, it's gone a bit crazy. Frustrated. Frustrated is the best word. We were good for a point, and there was a point there for us. And you know, a lot of people will bemoan the referee. They'll say he was rubbish. You know, it's a bit ironic that he actually got the big decisions right. He got their player diving right. He got the handball. It's a handball. You know, it is what it is. But the frustration with me was that he kept giving them 50-50 decisions, which gives them momentum. You know, there's a throw-in a minute before they score, which gives, it should be a Burnley throw-in, but he gives it to them and they build momentum and then they get the decision for the handball. And everything 50-50. Now, Scousers will whinge that, you know, one of your man should have been sent off earlier, but then there's argument to say they should have had a man sent off too. So, you know, I'm immensely proud of the team. I thought they played really hard, really well. They parked the bus, or low block, as you want to call it. Just frustrated. Silly decision in the last minute, and we lose a point.
Yeah. What angers me, Jordan, even as a neutral, is I've looked obviously through all the comments on Burnley Twitter, and you've got Liverpool fans there calling you anti-football, negative, boring, get back to the championship, awful, no one wants you here kind of thing. And I think, what do you expect Burnley to do? Just rock up and play an open game of football and let you walk through them 4-0? I mean, what do they honestly expect you to play?
Well, let's have it right. We've had two really awful sets of fan bases in the space of 3 weeks. Liverpool fans are insufferable when they get on one. You're coming up against a squad, realistically, that's nearly worth £1 billion. What do you know? And you're coming up against a team that, you know, we've just newly promoted from the Championship and we're just giving it a go. I think the lads left everything on the pitch today. You couldn't be immensely more proud of them. The decision off Hannibal, again, it's another last minute thing. It was Anthony last time out. Now it's Hannibal. Now you could put that down to inexperience. Maybe lessons need to be learned. Really, they should be going forward. And I just think it's a fact of we need to start taking the game out of the referee's hands. If you don't put the arm out there, there's no call to be given. And with the way we're defending crosses all game, then I'd just let that one go in because Dubravka, Ristev, Walker, they had everything covered. Ekdal, they had everything covered. Hartman. It's a bit of pill to swallow, but we go again.
Yeah, I mean, you're happy with the red card that you received. What about this one, though, Dan?
Well, I mean, the red card we got, actually, that foul, the first foul, he only gave a yellow for. So, and he gives a yellow for that because I've had a chance to watch it back. So I think Hartman actually gets a second yellow for a really weak tackle, which I don't really think it probably was a foul, but it's never a yellow card because he loses control of the ball, which is frustrating. So yeah, I don't think it should. It's an argument to say it's a soft yellow and an orange. I think our first one was. I think that one falls into the same category. He goes through his shin, he bruises and marks his shin. You know, there's argument to say that should have been a red as well, but he gives a yellow. I mean, he's always got one hand in his pocket, is Oliver. As soon as a Burnley player goes to ground, he's out with his cards, whereas with the Liverpool ones, it was a bit less so. So, yeah, I think the bigger frustration is what's he called? Him, he got subbed off by Liverpool after 36 minutes. What's he called? Number 6 for them.
Oh, I can't think.
I can't remember his
Kirkes,
you know,
Kirkes.
Kirkes, you know, he gets a yellow card for diving and then he pulls Anthony down when he's the last man. That's a red card. That's not, you know, that's a second yellow. So, and then Klopp, understandably, pulls him off the pitch. And
Slot,
Slot. not Slot. You know,
They're
it's
both as
same.
bad as each other, but yeah.
Yeah, same guy, just different hair. Slot, sorry, pulls him off because he can see he's a red card walking. But he possibly should have walked. I think again, if he's wearing a claret shirt and he jumps all over Salah when he's the last man through, is he getting a second yellow? So yeah, I don't think the foul on Anthony was a red. You know, this shows a bit of consistency there, but I do think that they were lucky to still have 10 men on the pitch.
Okay.
11 men, you know what I mean?
I don't want to make a big thing of this every week, Jordan, but if we look back at some of the decisions at Tottenham and the Man United one, which we've talked about, and now this, there's little old Burnley, if you like, what some people say, against three Sky Sports Big Six favourites. Is there favouritism in this league?
Oh, 1,000%. I was thinking about this while the game ran. Everyone forgot, and I'm not saying this is happening, but let's just have some perspective. I'm sure Barcelona were done about 10 years ago for bribing referees and charged £8 million. So I think it goes without saying, there's got to be something within that. They've got to, even if it's not a bribe, someone's in there, because it's not just us. This happens to every littler team. When I say littler, when they're not in that top six category, it's almost like you're going in a goal down every single time because the referee's automatically on their side. Everything goes their way. They give a little bit of consistency so the controversy maybe dips. But every single time it does feel like a decision's given. It's like for a penalty shout for a big 16 and they go, oh, I'm going to monitor. It's like, why bother? We know what you're going to do. And then when they go for a Burnley or maybe an Everton or a Sunderland or a Leeds, for example, they'll go to that monitor, stand there for 10 minutes and go, yeah, we'll wave that away. Yeah, it's awful. I think it's just poor officiating on a weekly basis now, and it is. I mean, it isn't because they haven't come out and said it, but Stevie Wonder can see this favouritism there.
It's the 50-50 calls today. Like I said, I thought the big decisions, in fairness to Oliver, he got right. But it's just it's a ricochet and it goes out of play. It's a Liverpool ball. It's a ricochet and it goes out for a goal kick. It's a Liverpool corner. There's a 50-50. There's a nudge on one of their players. It's a free kick to Liverpool. One of our guys gets slammed. Foster got forearm smashed it back at head. Play on. And that's what's annoying, the FA and the PGMOL or whatever you want to call us think that we're all idiots and we can't see this. But we see right through you. We know what you're doing. We know you're favouring these teams because it's commercially viable for them to win week in, week out. So you're always going to be more favourable to them. It's not so far as cheating, but it's pushing close to it. It frustrates. It really does.
Well, you could say it's only just a thing. Some teams just want a fair crack of the whip, and some people just don't get the fair crack, and that's why they go. The same three teams that have come up usually go down 9 times out of 10. They don't want us in this league. If you're not a money maker, they're not interested.
Okay. Let's switch gears and talk a bit more positively then. Some debuts, Dan, some new faces. Who impressed?
There was a few. One of the new guys who did impress, he's not making his debut, but I thought Hartman had an absolute outstanding game today. He's one of the newer boys, but like I say, I thought he played phenomenal. I thought he had a great game. I thought the back line, all of them were pretty good. I thought Ugachukwu was okay until he got himself sent off. I think that just kind of muckies his ticket a bit. And the brief cameo that he had, Florentino, I thought he looked solid. I think his game is tackling and disrupting, and I think when he swapped Cullen, it was like for like. So I thought we had a brief spell of Florentino, and I thought there's a lot to come from him. But certainly, I thought Hartman was outstanding today.
Okay. Jordan, same question.
Can we all just admit that Josh Cullen is an absolute engine that drives our team? Week in, week out, does that boy put in a bad performance? I don't think he does. He's sweeping up. He's making forward runs. He's about as tall as me. He's like if I stood next to him with a pair of borrowers, and he's going up against Van Dijk and Canate and winning the ball. Fantastic player. Again, I'm going to caveat what Dan said. Hartman was phenomenal. I think Foster needs a shout out because once again, working off scraps, that boy does. I'm sick of seeing all this hate on Foster. That he's not good enough. This and that. Give him the room. Give him the space. Give him the opportunity to get in there. And you see what he does, and he scores goals. He's been fantastic as Foster for me. A real uplift, and he's now to where you'd say that's my striker. And I'm backing him every single time I see him put in that team sheet.
I think today's a bad day to judge Foster on. He was never going to get an awful lot out today. He put a shift in, he put an absolute shift in. And, I think, people get on his back after today's performance need to give their head a shake. I thought he scored a few goals this season when people have already written him off. And today I thought he was tracking back. He had a thankless task, and then he had to sprint up and down that pitch whenever there was a break on, often for no products at the end of it. So I thought he put a shift in. He didn't do an awful lot, but he put a shift in. And I think to judge him on today would be unfair.
I agree.
Right, Forest up next then. Come this Saturday. Join us next week as we look back on that one. Hopefully a bit more fairer. Refereeing goes on.
We're the bigger team, you see, then, so we'll get more decisions.
Transfer window closed since the last time we spoke to you, so I want to get your honest views on how the club did. Before we talk about Burnley, let's talk about a player that we were talking about a lot, Josh Brownhill. Didn't get a club in the Premier League or top of the Championship, and I'm just wondered your views on kind of what's happened there. I'm not going to come to Dan. Because you're going to say I told you so. So I can summarise that. Jordan, are you surprised that? The rumours were he had offers, but are you surprised where he's ended up?
I mean, it's rough retiring at 28, isn't it? No, my opinion's changed drastically. Everyone who watches this channel knows how much of a big fan of Brownhill I were, but I'm going to say it's massively changed because to me it's just a massive cash grab. Yeah. I understand it at people's end of their careers if they're going into there as a retirement. This is no disrespect on the Saudi League, but it's not a competition. Let's have it right. He had some big offers on the table from some big teams, a lot of credibility. Your likes of Leicester's, I think you boys went in for him. There were some huge teams going in for him, and then he just toddles off to Al Shabab. And I said a while ago when he first rejected that Leicester offer, I knew what he was doing. He was holding out for that big money offer, which is all well and good taking your money, get your money, stack it up. However, as an ambition as a player, you clearly don't have one anymore, because is there really anything to win in the Saudi League? You're never going to be in the Champions League. I don't know if they have a competition in Asia. I'm not too sure, but if they do, it's not got the prominence. So where's his ambition gone? Because to me, that's just picking up a wage.
Dare I go to Dan on this? Go on, you've got 30 seconds only. Go
30 seconds, right, here we go. No, it don't. I don't know what his mindset was, like Jordan says. Maybe he was arrogant enough to think that he'd have teams lining up for him because of his stats being a bit misleading. He scores 18 goals, but
he did.
But he had very good teams. He had Everton and Wolves. That was about it. Sorry, with the greatest of respect, Mark, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But, whether he thought he was destined for a top 6, top 8 Premier League team or not, which, I said all along he wasn't that. He's a decent Championship player. He's not a Premier League player. But whether he thought that was what it was and when that didn't come, or whether he's just been dazzled by the money, I can understand if he wants to be at that top level and he's never going to get there, then why would you plow your tripe out, whatever you call whatever the term is, in on the bench, maybe getting the odd game here and there in a Carabao Cup for a Wolves, when you could be earning 2-3 times your wage over in Saudi in a much nicer place, nicer climate, and playing easier football. So I get why he's done it. I mean, I don't, we'll never know the reasons for it. I just think, my thoughts on him.
We do know the reason. It's the moolah.
Yeah, it's the money. You can't blame him. If someone said to me, "I'll give you twice your wage to do the same job," I'm going.
No, I don't blame him. But it's just no ambition left as a player.
Yeah. Can I just caveat? Sorry, Deborah, I didn't mean that. Of course, I'm staying. But
right, out of 10, then, Jordan, how well did the Clarets do?
Right, for me, I'm going to take mine off past experiences, a 10. Let's just have it right. I'm sick of seeing people on Twitter going, "Oh, it's not brilliant, it's a 6." I'm like, you haven't seen any transfer window under Mark Garlick then, quite obviously, where one transfer window we brought in Dale Stevens and that was it. For me, anything above that is considered a good window. And then bringing in, what really topped it off for me were Florentino Luis. That boy was tipped to go to Liverpool, I think, about 12 months ago for 100 million. We copped him at 25. He's got a massive name. We brought Walker in. We brought some decent names in, a well-rounded squad now, and you see that when they're on the pitch. I mean, they're competing against the best team in the league, the best team in Europe, they like to say. So yeah, for me, we're a 10. I mean, we're out there spending money, and don't get me wrong, we don't have hundreds and hundreds of millions to go on, but it's very, the way we spend money, it's very well done. I'm yet to see a massively failed signing, apart from maybe Trezor because he still hasn't touched the pitch. But let's not go there.
You've
So
still
for
got
me,
Brozier to play as well, haven't you?
we do. But again, I'm not going to judge him because I haven't really seen him yet. But
You
I'm
know,
going
I
to say a 10.
thought about him when he came on today. I was shouting your name. I said, if Brozier scores a winner here, Mark and I don't know, have words.
Okay, 10 for you then, Jordan. Dan?
It's got to be high. Whether it's a 10 or not, I couldn't say, but it's got to be 8 or 9. You look at the teams we're buying players from, Lazio, Milan, or City, or Everton. But, in the past, we were looking at lower teams and bringing them up. Now we're looking at teams on parity with the Premier League and bringing these players in. Players which are not names I'm familiar with, I'll be perfectly frank. Never heard of Florentino before, never heard of Chinao before, never heard of Ugujikwu, or I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name. I've heard several different variations. But they've all come in and they all look like decent signings. Hartman I never heard of, but again, you're bringing them in from established teams and they seem to be of a certain quality. So you've got to say, it's got to be like, I agree with Jordan, there's been times when we've had very bad transfer windows where you sign next to no one. So, it's got to be a decent window and hopefully if we can stay up, and we've seen now that these boys can defend under company, we didn't have that grit. We had a lot of flair, but no grit. Now we've got a bit of flair, but we've also got a disciplined team who, apart from Hannibal throwing his hand out, almost took a point off the champions who were undefeated this season. They've won 4 from 4 and it pushed them all the way. So you've got to say really thank you to Alan Pace for a decent window. In my opinion, it's been good.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much. Finally then this week, we are talking club versus country. The international break always brings up this little debate. So here it is again. Would you rather see Burnley lift the Premier League trophy or an FA Cup at some point in the next couple of years, or would you sooner see England win a World Cup? If I could say one of those is going to happen in your lifetime, but the other won't, which one would it be, Jordan?
I'm going for Burnley to win the Premier League only because that's the only thing them fiddlers down the road have over us. They're just annoying with it. They just witter on and go on about it. And the second we go on par with them, we beat them at their own, at their own ground to win the championship, and then we'd have that as well. So they have nothing. So I will take a Premier League for Burnley if that's what you're putting up for offer, Mr. Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan.
Oh, you ought to know I'm going to be the same. I'm going to be the same. With a great, I'd love to see England win a World Cup. I really would. But if it got us a chance to win, if you said I can guarantee you to see Burnley win the Premier League or an FA Cup in my life, I'm taking that every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Okay. Can we find a Burnley fan in the comments that would do the opposite? I wonder.
It'll be one of them in disguise pretending, and we all know who you are.
All right. Right, cheers for that. Good luck against Nottingham Forest, of course. We'll see you back here to discuss that as well. Connor's ill this week, so get well, Connor.
Get well soon, Connor.
As well. Thank you very much for joining us. Do drop us a quick subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers now. That'd be absolutely amazing. Thank you for getting us over the line as well with 400. We massively appreciate you all. See you in 7 days when hopefully we're not talking about bloody referees. See you then.